Homestead, how the heck are you? This little brief video, hopefully it'll be brief, don't be too long-winded, is answering a couple of messages that was sent in, and I thought it might be good information for the rest of you, and some of it you may find humorous, because I became famous. Yeah? Anyway, stand by. With you in a minute. A couple of messages come in, and they were interesting enough that I thought I might share them with you. Some of it you'll get a kick out of. But the first one was from a fellow who was asking about, why hassle with grain-fed beef when you can just go out and shoot a deer. Okay, so the first thing I had to ask him was, where are you from? Because there are parts of this country to where deer meat is still a good, viable source of lean, GMO-free, Roundup-free meat. Yeah, but we're talking mountains, okay? Way up in the mountains. And even then, because if they go down to any of the farmland below to do some grazing, forget it. You have to figure that, and he was from, kind of mid-Missouri area, so yeah, told him that's you might as well go buy your beef in the store. Same. Other than I guess it's more fun to hunt them, but really. Yeah, from what I've seen, most deer hunters spending on deer hunting, it'd be cheaper just to go buy a side of beef and be done with it. Okay. But anyway, because you got to understand, if you drive around any of these Midwestern areas, you will see on any given evening a herd of deer out there just munching away in these fields that are growing GMO crop, which means they've got the Roundups and so forth being used on them. All the little nasty things that makes feedlot beef undesirable is now going into that deer. So you virtually have the same thing. So, and there is a big difference in the meat. And I'm going to go over the numbers with you here. Looking at the pasture samples, and this is over, let's say they took them in 2002, 2005, 2007, I think 2009 again. Pretty substantial. Vitamin E is off the scale. It's probably 10 times higher in vitamin E in grass-fed beef. Okay, good, healthy stuff. Beta carotene is like 0.13 units as opposed to a grass-fed beef, which is I think at 0.74. So close to 6 to 7 times higher in beta carotene, grass-fed beef. Balance is what you're looking for. The ideal health balance of omega-6 and omega-3s is fats are right around, they'd love to see a 1.1, but so far in nature they haven't found that. The ratio in feedlot beef, what you're buying in the store, okay, is a 15-to-1 ratio. All right, grass-fed beef, 5-to-1 ratio. So it's 3 times healthier with the fatty acids. And it tastes better. All right? Honestly, it does. So don't let them give you this nonsense of, that there's no difference. Yes, there's a big difference and a big health difference. All right? And that is why people pay a little bit more for grass-fed beef. So, and especially if you're raising it for your family, come on, folks. Seriously, that is a pretty widespread of why to grass feed your beef. Keep them off the feeds as much as possible. All right. If you're going to give them feeds, make sure it's a good, natural, organic feed. Very few of them are, and you will spend a fair amount of money for it. That's another reason not to give much of it, because it's not cheap. All right. But yeah, there you have it, and that's a sampling of crossbred cows. These were not like pure Angus or anything of this nature. Just simple, commercial grade crossbred animals out in the pasture. Um, Pretty substantial, especially like the vitamin E. That's you know, that's just absolutely astounding. You're looking at in unit wise 0.36 vitamin E as opposed to, what is this? I don't have my glasses. 1.85 units. So yeah, these are substantial, off the chart virtually differences between grass-fed beef and feedlot beef. You know, God gave us some pretty good little animals out here, and if we let them do what is natural to them, we have good, healthy food. If man wants to step up and start playing in it and going, we know a better way, yeah, you can fatten it up faster and the quality of the food goes down. Really? And you're not going to fatten it up that much faster to cover the difference in the health benefits between grass-fed beef and regular feedlot. Okay? Plus, you don't have to, and if you're buying in grocery stores, you don't have to worry about the pink slime being added. That's gross stuff. If you ever really checked into that, go out and look at some of the videos and stuff that are out there on it. I mean, it's virtually, this pink slime is bone scrapings. It's real beef. Sprayed with ammonia, ground up and put in hamburger primarily. But they're also finding ways to do it with other meats. Oh, God, I love them. But it's becoming a bit unpopular. I understand Kroger has stopped it. Walmart meats are still that way. You know, a lot of different grocers are. So, know that you know. And a lot of water, a lot of fillers, you know. So probably if they did analysis of the actual beef that's laying in the stores, it would be scary. It really would be scary. So that covers that. I hope that answers your question. The mere fact that deer today are eating a lot of GMO crop. That's simple. A lot. And the problem with that is you see them out. You'll see a sprayer go through, spraying herbicides on the field, and the next night you'll see the deer out there munching away on the crop. So that stuff is still fresh, real fresh. So probably deer meat, if they really did a sampling of it, is not all that hot. Okay. Now, I became famous. You know, they say once you get a troll, you get famous. You know, you're famous on YouTube. Well, I've had a troll for a while. I call him my dislike troll. I can go through, and one day a month he goes through and he clicks dislike on every video out there, every one of them. I love it, and I think I know who the guy is because it started the same time because I get spam all the time. Where people send me, and this particular one was to a bootleg music kind of setup, wanting me to, you know, they start off with this comment of, oh, I really liked your video, and a link to their site, right? And I've had them from everything from bootleg videos to, one was a sex site. Yeah, yeah. Because I always get concerned that it might be a legitimate site that may have good information for the folks. So I'll go look. And I've about got my eyeballs burned out on a couple of them. And so if they're inappropriate for the channel, I won't, I'll delete it. Anyway, I set this guy off, and it's like, man, if you got that little of a life, really? But today, folks, I finally made it. I had my first SJW third wave feminist land on. Yep. I almost gave her a 3-letter reply to her message. I just laugh out loud. Because this was nothing but the usual standard buzzwords from the third wave feminist group. And, you're this, you're that. And it's like, no. So I kind of let her have both barrels. I even got the old, if you look at the definition of feminism in a dictionary, it says, I know what the definition of feminism is in the dictionary. Okay? And I've also went out and looked at the stuff you guys are putting out online, and it doesn't match up to the dictionary. So either the dictionary is wrong or y'all are wrong. Because you're not looking for equality for everybody. You're looking to put men down. I mean, I've watched one gal who was out there talking about, really, we need to put men in concentration camps to where the woman can go in there and like check him out like a book. Really? Come on now. Some just, think, hey, we just need to kill them off except for whatever we need for continuing the population. Really? That don't sound like equality to me, folks. I'm sorry. Okay? And there's a lot of facts and figures out there about the wage gap, which you hit me on that one. And I'm kind of a believer of this. I understand that there's wage gaps between men and women in a lot of different occupations. Okay? I have a very dear friend her career was as a machinist. Okay? Operated these big robotic machines, programmed them, fixed them, very technical lady. And the men around her doing the same job got paid a little more. Was she taking time off to take care of her kids? No, her job was really number one because that's how she took care of her kids. Kept them fed, clothed, roof over their head, things of this nature. She was a single mom. And so none of the stuff you hear really applied to her. But then you look at other careers, male models, okay? They don't want to talk about male models. Male models out there, wherever La La Land those people are from, get paid on average they only make 40% of what the top female models make. 40%. So there's a wage gap of 60% there. And in different careers, it varies. And they say if you take the whole thing and put it together, which like the Department of Labor and several have done, it's not as great as what they'd like to put on. And they blame some of that on men are more aggressive of going to the employers and saying, I need a raise or I'm going to find another job, and backing it up. And employers know that. Maybe women need to get a little more aggressive of going to their employers and demanding more money. I don't know. But there is, in different career fields, there is some big wage gaps, okay? Manufacturing and stuff like this is one of them. Needs to be fixed, really. I can't see a reason in the world why that's like that. And, the federal government, they have the laws on the books, folks. They need to step up and say, wait a minute, if there is indeed a wage discrimination, we need to address it and get this company, one company at a time, to fix this. And they're not doing it. So are they friends of feminists? I don't think so. Okay? They pretend to be, but not really. And there's a lot of other statistics out there. And as far as men in divorce courts, they're just, and most women agree that they get pounded most times. And I know there's deadbeat dads. Majority are not. Okay? But there are some. Probably a good number when you look at the total numbers. But, so all these things kind of flow together. And most of them, if you really step back and look at the big picture, are small issues that need to be fixed one at a time. Oh, she was on, and it's like, dear, come on. Don't give me talking points, give me facts. I'm not interested in your talking points. And so far, when I go out and look at the facts, fact is, I see you folks talking about killing men and putting them in concentration camps and yada yada yada, and you know, they're not even talking about bringing women's wages up to equal men. They're even talking about bringing men's wages down so that women make as much or more. It's like that's dumb. You know, it should be, if anything, raise the women's level up. So you know, a lot of that is just it's talk. But I finally got famous enough to where I had one just absolutely go off on me, but I went off right back. So uh, you know, I basically told her, don't waste my time if you can't come up with facts. I'm not interested in talking points. Now that's the engineering side of it. Don't give me BS. Give me facts, and I'll sit down and analyze your facts. But don't spew out dictionary terminology when what you're out there saying is entirely different. Okay? If it walks like a duck, talks like quacks like a duck, and so forth, it's a duck. So when you're talking about hate, all right, you're wrong. When you won't discuss with groups like the men's rights associations and so forth, where they're concerned with there's not any real help out there for men that suffer abuse, domestic abuse. It happens. It's probably a small percentage. There's truckloads of help for women and their kids, not much for men. None for men, really. Even with some of the people that started the original women's groups tried to start men's too, and couldn't get the government to fund it. Even though statistically they should have. Male suicide rates and things are real high. Okay, if you're really about equality and concerned about everybody getting taken care of, then why are you out protesting these guys when they have a get together where they can discuss their issues? You're outside trying to burn the place down. I don't understand that. See, what you're saying out of your mouth and what you're doing with your actions are two entirely different things. And I think, and then they wonder why a lot of women are running like crazy away from the term feminist, because they're ruining that terminology. At one time, it stood for good. It stood for women's rights to vote. And it stood for trying to get equal pay and to be able to work in the workforce and things of this nature. But it's devolved into something nuts. I mean, and I know it's not all feminists, so I'm not going there either. I'm sure there's a lot of women who call themselves feminists that still believe in we want everything to be equal. You know, if we're doing the exact same job, putting in the exact same hours, we should be getting the same pay. That's understandable and right. And the laws are on the book that should happen. And maybe instead of jumping up and down about the men, maybe you need to jump up and down on the desks of the men in Congress, you know, and down at the EEOC, at the Labor Board, and say, you guys need to start enforcing the regulations here. But that's going to require not standing out with your no blouse on. I don't get that one either. These women are out there screaming that they don't want to be sex objects and don't want men staring at them and stuff. They take off their tops. Now in Europe, you could probably get by with that at the beach in the swimming pool, because European males have gotten real accustomed to that. But here in the U.S., no, we're not accustomed to that. We're going to go, really? Put your clothes on, girl. It's like, and then suddenly, you know, because the guy goes, is she right around without a top on? We're in the wrong. It's like, no, you're in the wrong by taking your clothes off in public. You know, and there is laws about that. And I'm sorry, you know, and I can even see, I have seen guys out there, you know, when women say, well, men can go topless. Okay, I agree. You know, maybe men should have to wear tank tops. I have seen a lot of men that really shouldn't be running around without their shirts on. But me included. But yeah, you know, honestly, let's get realistic. You know, we got enough real problems out there. And this third wave generation of snowflake feminists is just really nuts. That's the only way to describe it. Nothing they talk about even makes sense. You know, nobody's out there, holding them back and holding them down. More women in universities than ever before. Matter of fact, men are dropping out. And I can understand these MGTOW guys going, I'm done. I'm just done. If I had to deal with these 20 somethings as a 20 something, I would probably join their movement and go, I'm done. I'm out. Because these girls, I mean, seriously, if you ever got some serious time to waste and decide have a good laugh, go look at some of this stuff. You've got women hating men and men hating women, and the population's definitely dropping because of it, because people aren't making commitments to one another anymore, because they don't have to, because the laws have gotten to the point where they don't have to. Anyway, I don't get into a big rant. I really kind of reamed the girl pretty good. And if she has the sense to read and understand logic, she'll maybe walk away with something. But my final statement to her was, don't worry, sugar. About 30, the rest of your brain will start connecting, and you will then gain something called common sense, and hopefully you'll understand how wrong you are right now. Although I have seen some very old third wave feminists out there. But, there's freaks in nature everywhere. Okay? I don't want to say. Maybe the brain didn't connect. Something. I don't know. Okay? But now, men and women are supposed to try to get along. We are different. Okay? It doesn't mean that we shouldn't all have the same rights. But we are different. And one of my concerns right now is, with all this craziness that they're starting up, is that we're walking down a path that we may not want to go to. And I think men and women need to let the government know we will not let you ship our women off to war. Not going to happen, kids. They're moving toward it, and they're being stimulated by this craziness of these third wave feminists. All I got to say is I hope they're the first to go. I really do. So anyway, this is already went too long. But remember about the beef. That's the important part. But yeah, I have become famous. I've gotten real trolls. And there is a huge difference between grass-fed and feedlot-fed animals as far as the health benefits to you. And depending on the area you're living in, if that deer has lived its life up in the mountains, nowhere near any GMO crops with Roundup sprayed all over them and so forth, it's probably a healthy piece of meat. If it's grazing out there in the fields, you might want to pass on it. Okay, I know it's a lot of fun hunting deer, but you might want to pass on it because it's every bit as contaminated as what comes off the feedlots. So anyway, you folks have a good day. We'll talk to you later. And I really do. I hope you're having a real good week. And I love and appreciate you guys. And sorry for the rant, but I was really kind of seriously. I got a troll. Wow, it's cool. Anyway, y'all take care. Talk to you later.